6 smart bidding mistakes. I see them in almost every Google Ads account I audit, from small e-commerce accounts to accounts spending millions per month. Some are absolutely obvious. Others look like best practices until you realize they're quietly draining your performance. Mistake number 5 is the one that separates experienced managers from everyone else, in my opinion. And most people don't even know the metric exists. But before we get into all 6, one thing I just want to talk about. I'm not going to have a mistake on this list that talks about wrong data or improving your tracking. Or we're going to talk about overlapping micro conversions, inflated values, too many conversion actions, all these things. There's way too many videos out there that just say you need better data. Yes, we know. Now, let's move on to the actual stuff we can use in a daily basis.
Before we continue, I just wanted to let you know that in the description, you can find links to resources that you probably don't want to miss.
Smart bidding mistake number 1, running campaigns limited by a budget. This is the most common one I see, and it has two sides. The first is obvious. Your campaigns are limited by budget. Google is literally telling you it could spend more profitably, but your budget just won't allow it. What happens in practice, and it's not as simple as it sounds, is that smart bidding starts focusing on the most profitable clicks. This sounds like a good thing, and it can be. It's actually a signal that you can send to smart bidding to become more efficient instead of just increasing your ROAS target. So there is a play here around using limited by budget carefully to signal to smart bidding to be more profitable. But in most cases, that's not how, how people use it. And here's what actually happened. Let's say your spend is $1,000 per day and your ROAS target is 500. But because you're limited by budget, then Google is cherry picking the most profitable clicks. It wants you to increase the budget. The way it gets you to increase the budget is by showing you a better ROAS than you're actually hitting. It's a good algorithmic play and it makes sense. Spend the money the best possible way. So you'll start, even if your target is 500%, if you are limited by budget, you'll start hitting 600, 700, maybe 800%. ROAS, I see it all the time. And what happens is then you start increasing your budget and your ROAS drops. You panic. But all that happened is that Google was artificially tapping into the most profitable searches because it was constrained by the budget. The moment you give it more freedom, the more room, it starts buying the broader set of auctions that your 500% target actually allows. And many will come back to me and say, Andrew, I don't understand how that's a problem. But the problem is that you're not choosing the performance. You're accidentally getting there. If you want to hit at 800% ROAS, then set an 800% ROAS target and increase your budget. Don't set a 500% target and then limit the budget to force the algorithm into cherry picking. Because here's what you're missing. If you're limiting the campaign to a spend of $1,000 per day, you have no idea if you could be spending $2,000, $3,000, or $5,000 per day at a profitable ROAS. You're just capping the spend and getting artificially high ROAS from it. The right thing to do in most cases is to set the ROAS target you actually want to hit and then set a budget that's 20 to 50% higher than what you're spending on an average day. This gives smart bidding room to operate without the budget becoming the constraint. The second side of this mistake is actually worse, and I see it constantly. People use the budget as a lever to control spend. Your ROAS is dropping, so you start lowering budget, and your client will then say, spend less this month, so you lower the daily budget. That's a rookie move. When you lower the budget on a target ROAS campaign, you're doing this what we said before. You're telling smart bidding, keep hitting the same ROAS, but with less money. That sounds fine in theory, but in practice, it forces all the same things that we just talked about. If you want to spend less, you have 3 options. Increase your ROAS target. It's less immediate, but it's the correct long-term lever. Number 2 is you can apply a negative seasonal bid adjustment. It has an immediate effect, but you should only use this if it's a very temporary 3 to 7 days spend decrease that you want to do, because spend and CPCs and bidding bounces back once it's removed. Then you can decrease your max bid limit. It also has an immediate effect and is kind of underrated in my opinion, but it has a lot of the same issues as bid adjustments, which I'll talk a little bit more in mistake number 3. Only in absolute emergencies should you touch the daily budget. Sometimes a client, like we have big corporate clients and there's just a limited budget we have to spend. Sometimes we have to use it. Sometimes we have to tell Google to limit the budget, because if we go over the budget, we're in big trouble. And that's an emergency. Now we know, okay, next time we need to set our targets better and stuff. Now, mistake number 2 is using maximized conversion value instead of a ROAS target. Like, it sounds kind of counterintuitive because maximized conversion value sounds like the better option. Hey, Google, here's the budget. Maximize my conversion value. The problem is that the only constraint you're giving smart bidding is the budget. And like we talked about before, that can be difficult. The reason why it gets even more difficult with maximized conversion value is that searches on Google differ from day to day and week to week and season season's a season. Telling Google to spend the same amount every day, regardless of demand, makes no sense. So here's what you have to do. You have to obviously change the budget so you match days and weeks with high demand with a higher budget and lower demand with a lower budget. Because on days with low demand, if you just have the same budget always, then smart bidding will increase your CPCs to spend the budget. On days with high demand, it lowers the CPCs, stay within the budget. That's the exact opposite of what you want to do. You want to ride the high demand days up, and then you want to pull back when demand drops. Let me say that again. On days with high demand, you want to ride it. You want to spend more when there's a high demand. You don't want to spend more or have higher CPCs when demand is low. Target ROAS solved this. Target ROAS doesn't care if there's 1,000 clicks or 10,000 clicks a day. If the CPC is 87 cents and you usually hit a ROAS of 700% with that, it will buy every single click it can at that price. If there's more searches, it will spend more. If there's fewer searches, it will spend less. CPC, same ROAS, doesn't matter. If you compare this to a store that's always full of happy customers, then the more foot traffic, the more you sell. You don't have to worry about a budget ceiling. Now, there's 3 scenarios where maximized conversion value makes sense. If your boss is 100% budget centric. The goal is always to spend exactly the budget, but not spending it efficiently. You cannot move budget around from one month to another. And it sounds odd, but those companies exist. We have some of those as clients in Savvy. The second scenario is you want to bypass the ROAS target because it's choking your spend. Using max conversion value temporarily and then switch over to target ROAS once the spend stabilizes can make a lot of sense. The third thing is just being a lot more aggressive on this. You need to reset an account after tracking malfunction or your conversion rep collapsed or in the beginning of a peak season. Telling it to just spend the money can reset the data collection. Those are exceptions, and in 99 out of 100 cases, use target ROAS instead of maximize conversion value. Now, mistake number 3 is only using campaign level targets. Problem here is that most advertisers will set a target ROAS on each individual campaign. It seems logical. Each campaign has its own products, its own performance, and thereby its own target, and you can adjust. One hits 500, one hits 525, one hits 610. It's just perfect. The problem with this is that each campaign only sees its own data. So if your running shoes campaign gets 180 conversions a month, accessories campaign gets 250, those are perfectly fine. They have plenty of data to work with. But on the other hand, the marathon equipment campaign only gets 20. Training shoes only get 30. Then smart bidding in those campaigns will have to make decisions based on almost no data. It starts reacting slowly, it overcorrects, or it doesn't correct at all when it over or under bids. Combining all of them into a single portfolio bid strategy, and all of a sudden smart bidding will have 630 conversions a month. It will now react faster across the board whenever there's changes in ROAS. It will aggregate learnings across audiences, across CPCs, which means less wasted ad spend and less missed opportunity from not bidding high enough. There's also a couple of extra things that you unlock with portfolio bid stress. Projected ROAS, the single most important metric for understanding what smart bidding is doing. I'll talk more about that in mistake 5. You also get minimum and maximum bid limits. This protects against CPC creep. It was just, in my opinion, one of the most underrated levers in Google Ads today. It doesn't mean that it will make or break accounts. It just means that it is one of the best things we've done in Savvy to not have CPCs go up every single year. And the third one is you get shared learning across campaigns. You get faster reactions, better signals. It just works better. But, and this is the flip side that I see a lot of people do, you create too many portfolio strategies. That basically does the same thing. It'll fragment your data just as badly as campaign level targets. If you have 10 shopping campaigns and you create 8 or 7 or 6 portfolio strategies with a couple of campaigns each, you've basically gained nothing. The sweet spot is fewer well-structured bid strategy. Group campaigns together that share similar ROAS targets. So if you're running an e-commerce campaign, you might just need 2 or 3 portfolio strategies and not 10. If there's no significant difference in the ROAS target, again, 500 versus 600, 600 versus 800, 610 versus 590 is not a difference. It doesn't matter. It's better to align or aggregate those bid portfolios in one. Now that your data is aggregated, you can actually use the target as a lever, which is mistake number 4. Not proactively changing your ROAS targets. I see it constantly. Someone sets a 5% ROAS target in January and you'll never touch it again. Target that you have is, I call it a communication tool. Every single time you lower it, you're telling smart bidding, go explore, find more volume, buy me more traffic. And every time you increase your ROAS, you tell tighten up, become more efficient. Now, there are clear moments in the year where you should be doing one of these. You should either before peak season lower your target. If the algorithm tightened during a slow period, then when you enter the peak, then you have a very narrow amount of auctions that you can bid on, and it'll take some time before you get out there. Lowering your target before demand spikes allows smart bidding to already be in an expansion mode as the peak starts peaking and starts growing. After a promotion, probably or big sale, after promotion, big sale, you can call it several things. Raise your target. Smart bidding is still bidding based on an inflated sales data, so it needs a signal to tighten up a bit and not continuously bid. You can also use seasonal bid adjustments here, but raising your target makes sense here. If your growth starts to flatline, so let's say your ROAS is 5 to 10% higher year over year, but growth starts to flatline, gone from 30% or 50% down to 10 or even standstill, this can be a sign that you've become too efficient. Trying to decrease your target to push smart bidding back into expansion mode makes sense. Here's the part that it surprises a lot of people. Even if you want the same ROAS all year, then temporarily lowering your target can help smart bidding go find more volume. And sometimes it'll still hit your actual ROAS target for 1, 2, or 3 weeks before you switch it back to the ROAS you actually want it to be. And this is one of the core things about proactively changing your target. You need to, I don't want to say constantly change it, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times throughout the year, you should be changing your target to work with this, where you try to say expand to find more volume and retract and tighten up to be more efficient. This doesn't have to be big changes, but you should do it because targets should not be a set and forget setting. They're a lever you should be adjusting strategically throughout the year. And mistake number 5, only looking at actual ROAS and not projected ROAS. This is the mistake that I believe separates experienced Google Ad Managers from everyone else. Most people will open Google Ads, look at the ROAS over the last 30 days or 7 days, and compare it to the target and start making a decision. And that's wrong. At least it's incomplete. There's 2 things that most of you miss that you really need to focus on. Number 1 is your projected ROAS is what smart bidding is actually steering on, not actual ROAS. So if we open up an account, then your actual ROAS is simply just everything has been tracked yet. It doesn't include conversions that will happen in the future and it will be attributed back to this time period. And that's what we call conversion lag. Conversion lag is one of the best things smart bidding has ever figured out to use, because Google knows more conversions are coming and it shows you this as a projected ROAS. So if you hover over your actual ROAS, you can see that this is actually going to hit, right now it's hitting 153 and it's expecting it to hit 164. The cool thing about this is when we compare this to the average target ROAS, we can see if this continues, then it shouldn't be increasing or decreasing bids. It should stay very flat because it's expecting to hit exactly what we think it is. So when you look at this and go, hey, my ROAS is lower than my target, why is it not decreasing bids? It's because Google knows that under normal circumstances, more conversion data will come in and it's going to hit the target with the delayed conversion value that comes in. Which brings us to the second part here, which is you need to compare against your average target ROAS. As you can see here, I've set this target to 170, which I did the other day, which means that in the period of the last 30 days, we haven't actually been expected to hit 170. We've been expected to hit on average 165, and it's doing that. So when I'm sitting and looking here, hey, why are we going from 153 and up to 170? Why are you not doing something smart bidding? Then it's because the projected ROAS is 164. It's expected in that time period on average to hit 165. So we're not doing anything. If I needed to do something now, then I need to increase the target much more than what I've done. And if we go in and you say, let's just look at yesterday, then you'll see the average target is 170 because that's what it's been that day. And again, actual is a lot less, and it's saying 167, so it's closer to hitting it. All of this is important because you can't just look at your last 30 days and look at your actual ROAS and your target and go, why are you not doing what I want you to do? You have to use the average target ROAS and the projected ROAS to help figure out what kind of signals, what kind of instructions are you giving smart bidding. Mistake number 6, tinkering too much. And yes, like I've said this entire video, you should be making changes. You should change your max bid limits. You should be changing your targets. You should be changing what campaigns are running and all these things. But there's a difference between strategic adjustments and then just tinkering because you want to. And here's what I mean. Changing your ROAS target every week, applying seasonal bid adjustments on a daily or weekly override because your boss is saying you're spending too much, adjusting max bid limits weekly, or using data exclusions because you have a dip in ROAS or you have an increase in ROAS, so it's not really the average of where you want it to be. I've seen advertisers who do this and were constantly making changes. They went on vacation or they just got too busy to keep tinkering, and performance got much better. There is an absolute point of diminishing returns with making too many changes to smart bidding, and most people are way past it. In my opinion, the most powerful skill in smart bidding isn't knowing what to change. It's reading the data, understanding what smart bidding is already doing, and have the confidence to do nothing. In my opinion, that's not neglecting or just abdicating responsibility. It's you understanding what's going on and deciding not to make a change. As a bonus mistake, I just want to say ad group level ROAS targets are, in 99% of cases, the wrong thing to do. Every single little ad group ROAS target you set on your account is a micro limit you set to smart bidding that it has to adjust for. Unless you have exceedingly high amount of data, then it's simply just going to be limited and it doesn't work. As just to summarize, we have 6 mistakes. Number 1, limited by budget. Number 2, maximize conversion value, switch to ROAS target instead. Number 3 is campaign level targets, consolidate them into portfolio strategies. Number 4 is static targets, adjust them strategically throughout the year when you want to tighten up or when you want to increase to find more demand. Number 5 is ignoring projected ROAS and ignoring average target ROAS. Learn to read what smart bidding actually sees, and you have a much better ability to instruct it correctly. And number 6, I tell you to make a bunch of changes. Don't make too many changes. Read the data, learn when to do nothing. The through line here is really that smart bidding is a tool that rewards you for thinking strategically, and it punishes you for micromanaging. A little bit like everything else we do. Give it a lot of good data. Give it the right constraints, give it the right targets, and adjust when you need to adjust, and then get out of the way and focus on other things. I've done full deep dives on target ROAS versus max conversion value. I've done full videos on minimum and max bid limits, how to read smart bidding metrics, and all these things are linked in the description if you want to know more.